The doors to the Viridian Tea House are open once more. Hello everyone, I'm back with another video. I don't really have any news except, as you know, I'm still a vendor at the Wheat Ridge Farmers Market. That's every Wednesday from 5 to 8 p.m. It's a good little group and you can find veggies and bone broth, macarons, treats. Like, I finally met one of the vendors last week who makes quiche and focaccia and all of that, and oh my God, I had a sausage, pepper, and onion quiche, and it was funny. The guy that was at the booth was like, "Do you need a napkin?" And I'm looking at the 2 bites I have left, and I'm like, "No, I'm good." But no, so Wheat Ridge Farmers Market is still going strong, 5 to 8 p.m. in Wheat Ridge, Colorado. And as always, June 7th, well, this Saturday actually begins the Golden Farmers Market. So if you're going to be in Golden on Saturday from 8 to 1, this is one of the best farmers markets to attend. I'll be there. My first day is June 17th. But there's tons of stuff to do, tons of stuff to buy. So just go and have a good time, y'all. Let's see what else. Oh yes, I've been confirmed as a vendor for the Magic Makers Market. You know, I love those people. I love the witches and all of it. And the next one is June the 11th from 11 to 4. It's 11 to 4 at the usual Ant Life space in Denver. And I've also been confirmed for an event at Fiction Beer Company in Denver, and that's June 24th. And when I have more information, I will post it on a future video. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first book is, as I talked about this in my last video, The Face Behind the Mask, Sins of the Father, Book 3 by Leo King. I finally finished this trilogy. It took me many years, but I finished it. And what a mind blower. Very satisfactory ending. Kind of maybe was wondering, well, I wonder if, but you know what? It ended well. And great combination of magic and voodoo, suspending your disbelief, of course set in New Orleans, great mystery. And with this book, as you can see, it is kind of thick because you're dealing with other characters that were not really, they were kind of sort of second characters in the second book and maybe in the first book, but in this one, they really come out. Like Michael's sister, Alexia. Love her character. She kind of reminds me of like a Christian Wednesday Addams in a way, but I love her character. I loved how Leo really fleshed her out and she came into her own. She shared a lot of characteristics with her brother, her deceased brother Michael, but she was her own woman and a very strong will, which comes in rather handy. So let me just read the back of it for you. Let's see. The new Bourbon Street Ripper is dead, as in the second book, and the mastermind behind him stands revealed. His end game for both sets of killings is simple. Sam Castile cannot die. Now Sam lies in a coma as the remnants of the Night Priori and Dr. Lazarus's fledgling group battle over her and all of New Orleans. Spanning 5 years and the intertwined lives of 5 characters, the explosive, no shit, this was explosive, climax to this supernatural thriller trilogy will change the world forever. I mean, it blew my mind. It really did. And yeah, it was really nice to see him tie any loose ends from the first and second book. And I love how there were some characters that were there from the beginning through the end in various forms. But I loved how, and what one thing that I thought was really, I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I can see that, was how there was one character that absolutely hated and loathed Samantha Castile. And yet, through the turn of events, this person becomes pretty much one of her strongest allies. And I like seeing that gradual evolution of this person's beliefs once they realize what was really going on. And Leo, I hope you know which character I'm talking about, but I really, really love what you did with that particular detective. I really, really loved it. Of course, Dixie and Gino and their baby, and also, like I said, Alexia and all of her friends at Emory, and just the different goings on between New Orleans and other cities, and how the evil is stopped or contained, but pretty much stopped, but just ending it really well. Thoroughly enjoyed it. A great mismatch of, you know, murder, romance, history, gore, and horror. Just everything that you're looking for in a solid, well-written, well-thought, well-developed trilogy. Sins of the Father by Leo King is a trilogy that you really should buy. Now, if you're kind of sensitive to, you know, reading certain gore descriptions, maybe you might want to steer clear, but that shouldn't stop you. It really shouldn't. So I'm so glad. I hate the fact that I waited so long to read this, to read Face Behind the Mask. Yet when I started, I really couldn't stop. And so for Face Behind the Mask, Sins of the Father, Book 3 by Leo King, published by Grey Gecko Press, receives, of course, 5 pots of tea from Viridian Tea House. Loved it, loved it, loved it. And I don't want to be redundant. I've probably been redundant, but I loved it. I absolutely loved the ending. And the one doctor, oh, what was his name? Let's see, Dr. Klein. I'm so glad you handled him the way that you did. I am so, so glad that, you know, and to me, that's the sign of just a really good writer, where you're reading their work, you're reading their books, and you love a character or you hate a character, but it doesn't matter because you're still reading the story. And even if you hate the character, like, you just want to keep reading to be like, I hope this SOB gets what he deserves. You know, I hope this, So yeah, that, and you know, other people may think differently. This is just my opinion, but I love it when I can absolutely loathe a character and yet I can't put the book down because I'm like, I just have to know, like, are you going to change? Are you going to evolve? Are you going to get worse? Are you going to stay the same? But I love it when a writer, with their words, with their magic of the words, they make you care. Whether or not you hate the character, that's one thing, but they make you just, you have to know, you have to find out. So I loved it, just absolutely loved it. And the story's over. So I'm done talking about it. Leo, this was just a fantastic third book, just fantastic. So thank you. Thank you so much. So the second book is, I've heard about this series for years, and yet I just didn't get around to it. And thankfully, Arapahoe Library District had the first book. And I said, oh, no. I want to read this book. I'm going to read this book. And this is Booked to Die by John Dunning. And this is a mystery introducing Cliff Janeway. This was a fantastic first book in this murder mystery series. And I actually pulled up his John Dunning's information because I just want to make sure that I get it correct. But yeah, so, and then let me just read the dust jacket for you. Let's see. Denver cop Cliff Janeway probably knows as much about books as he does about homicide, which he really does. Like, I really like Cliff. I really do. His living room resembles an adjunct to the public library. Excuse me. He's aware that a first edition of Stephen King can bring as much as a first edition of Mark Twain, and that a copy of Raymond Chandler's Lady in the Lake is worth close to $1,000. And he realizes that, contrary to common belief, older doesn't necessarily mean more valuable. He also knows that valuable volumes can be hidden in plain view among otherwise ordinary book collections. It's not easy to find such books, but some people seem to have an extraordinary, almost superhuman talent for honing in on the treasures. Such a man was book scout Bobby Westfall. Bobby never made a bundle, but he once earned $900 in a single weekend and had generally spotted enough valuable books to keep himself and his much-beloved cats fed and housed. Now Bobby is dead, murdered at the witching hour on Friday the 13th, his body dumped under a ladder in a dark alley. It's not a good end for a superstitious man. Janeway is sure he knows who did it. Flashy businessman Jackie Newton. And see, with Jackie Newton, like, I absolutely hated Jackie Newton. And yet, Dunning's words just made me be, I have to read more about Jackie Newton. What's Jackie Newton doing now? But Jackie Newton, who is known to have a pathological hatred for drifters. He's suspected of a string of killings in New Jersey and California, but nobody's been able to win a conviction. Janeway came close, but then the star witness got scared. Now Janeway hopes he'll have another chance at a man whose destruction has become his personal goal. But Janeway's in for some surprises before he finds the proof he needs. Surprises that will affect his professional and personal life in profound and shocking ways. Readers will delight in Janeway's journey of discovery as they share an insider's glimpse into the wonderful, unpredictable world of old and not so old rare books. Book to Die is a finely crafted, fast-moving, multi-layered novel from a writer at the peak of his powers. And just a little bit of information about John Dunning. John Dunning owns the old Algonquin bookstore in Denver, where he is always on the lookout for valuable books. Let's see, full-time writer and book dealer. He is also a radio historian and a former radio show host. He and his family live in Denver. So yeah, you know, I had heard about this series when I was living in Memphis, and a friend of mine who owned a bookstore actually was just devouring them. And I was like, you know, I really want to check these out. Well, you know, time happens and life gets in the way. So fast forward to now, finally got a chance to read Book to Die. And I'll tell you something, it is a multi-layered murder mystery. Like, just when you think you might figure out who killed Bobby, then a hard left that you didn't even see coming. It's just like, oh my God, wait, what just happened? Plus, this is the kind of murder mystery for bibliophiles and people who collect rare and antiquarian books. I mean, you're almost with Cliff as he talks about books and then eventually starts selling books, and just listening to the banter of the different booksellers, you know, what's valuable, what's not valuable, and so on and so forth. But at the core of it all is the mystery. Who killed Bobby? And when I found out who killed Bobby, I was not prepared, and I was so wrong. I was very wrong. And then even at the final paragraph of this book, there's one more loose end, and you're like, okay, everything else has been wrapped up nicely, but, and John Dunning handles that last string eloquently. And you close the book and you go, that was more than satisfactory. Like, I love a good murder mystery. Book to Die it satisfied my appetite. It really did. I'm ready for the second book. But a little bit of sad news. So John Dunning died on May 23rd of this year. And he was 81 years old. I got it up on my computer. But he was 81 years old. And actually, interesting story. So there's a bookstore here in Denver called The Printed Page, and they deal with a lot of out of print, in print, old, rare, antiquarian books. Really nice staff. You walk in, and it's a house, but you walk in and you immediately feel like you're welcome there. You really are. And the folks there, they'll do courses every so often talking about, you know, book care and how to be a book collector. So I attended one of those not too long ago, and it was very informative, like talking about the different pieces that makes a hardback a hardback. What's the difference between a first edition and a book club edition? I think I've talked about this in a video before, so it's just kind of nice to reiterate it, but yeah, and it was one of the owners, Dan, who actually posted about Mr. Dunning's death. So may his memory forever be a blessing. But I'm so glad to have read Book to Die. So if you are a book lover, if you want to know more about the antiquarian book industry, I mean, really, and if you like good mysteries, you need to read this series. Book to Die is the first book, and it receives 5 pots of bloody good stuffy smelling tea from Viridian Tea House. So I'm so glad that my library system had this book, and I'll be sure to check out all the other books in the series. I think it's 6 or 7 of them, I'm not sure, but with everyone that I read, I'll be reviewing it right here on Viridian Tea House. So yeah, Book to Die, quite good. All right, so now to the tea portion. This is going to be one of my teas. We are doing Colorado Sunrise. So this is one of my caffeine-free blends, and like I tell customers who meet me, you know, all of my tea blends have a story. So the story behind Colorado Sunrise is when I moved here from New Orleans over 2 years ago, November 7th, no, November 8th will be my 3rd year here in Colorado. And when I moved here, I didn't know anybody except for my boyfriend. I had no idea what to prepare for. I mean, I didn't know. And in the years since then and now, it's been a pleasant surprise. It really has. I have learned so much about myself and also about this state. And I'm truly, truly grateful to be living here and to be contributing to this beautiful state. And so I made Colorado Sunrise as my way of saying thank you to the state of Colorado for welcoming this Southern girl into your mountain arms. So the ingredients are rooibos, ginger, hibiscus, and dried cranberries. Like I wanted it to look like a sunrise pretty much. So this is it. It's been steeping for well over 7 minutes, but you can see kind of like the blood, kind of like a deep reddish orange color. So with my lovely Sakura Dragon mug from Aegean Goods, here we go. Oh, that color is so beautiful. Oh my gosh. So I will say that you can purchase bags of Colorado Sunrise either through me in person or on Etsy or at the co-op in Wheat Ridge. There are some bags left. So either them or through me. So if you're into rooibos, so if you're looking for a nice herbal tisane to drink during the day, Colorado Sunrise is quite good. So cheers. Ooh, so already I've got the hibiscus and a little bit of the ginger and the rooibos. Cranberries are kind of faint, but that's okay because, as you know, when the tea cools, other flavors rise to the top and some take a back seat. But this is delicious. Oh, and you know, as my nose made contact with the tisane, I got a nice whiff of ginger. You know, ginger is one of those ingredients where I'm quite liberal with ginger when I make certain tea blends. And I know not everybody's into ginger. And I know ginger can be really strong for some people. But the right amount of ginger, like in Colorado Sunrise, you can just get the hint of the spice. But it's blending well with the rooibos and the hibiscus. That's absolutely delicious. That really is. So that is all I have for today. But the final part is, of course, our breathing meditation with tea or with water. So you know the drill. Just make sure you have a nice glass of water or a cup of your favorite tea with you. And we're not gonna do it for too long. We never really do. But the main point of all of this is to take a break from your busy life and just focus on your breathing. That's it. Just focus on your breathing. And maybe this will put you in a reset mode, or maybe this will help you as you're, trying not to pull your hair out with some stressful situation. But it's just about breathing. So if you're ready, make sure you got, like I said, your liquid of choice, and let's begin. So now let's end this breathing meditation with a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Slowly open your eyes, or allow your eyes to come back into focus. And now have a sip of either your tea or your water. Now I'm getting a ginger hibiscus cranberry. Yeah, that's nice. That's kind of sweet. That's really sweet. So once again, this is Colorado Sunrise Herbal Tisane, made through my company, and it is caffeine free. You can find bags of it on my Etsy store or at the Wheat Ridge Co-op. And if you happen to be in Wheat Ridge on Wednesday, then please stop by my tent or go into the store if you're interested in trying Colorado Sunrise. So many thanks to John Dunning, may his memory forever be a blessing, and Leo King, to the wonderful folks at Viridian Tea Company, and to all you people out there. Thank y'all so much. And also special shout out to Arapahoe Library District, as always, Gray Gecko Press, and to the good folks at the Printed Page Bookshop in Denver. So that's all I have for today. And as always, take care of yourself and each other. Raise your Sakura Dragon mug high. And also special thanks to Aegean Goods. And don't forget that to drink tea is to enjoy life. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.